Okay, hi Sneha.
Hello, sir.
Hi. Tell me about yourself.
Okay, so good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My name is Neha Perkar.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, I'm pursuing Masters in Computer Application at Fergusson
Okay.
College, and I have done my Bachelor's in Computer Science at the same institute with the
Okay.
CGPA of 8.84.
Mm-hmm.
And during my academic journey, I have worked on few projects.
Mm-hmm.
So, because of which, like I have gained hands-on experience in Java and in
Okay.
database SQL. Also, the projects I want to mention, which were in my undergraduation, we have built project as Traveler. It was basically a tours and travel management system.
Okay.
And in my masters in computer application and first year, we have built a placement pro, which was a placement cell management system. It was basically for our college purpose only,
Okay.
because of we found the problem, like it was a manual process of our
Okay.
college placement. So we think about a placement pro will be a good option. So
Okay.
in which tech stack which we used are in backend we have used Java with JSP,
Mm-hmm.
and in database we have used MySQL, and for front end we have used HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
Okay.
And currently, which is our ongoing project, which we have submitted, it
Mm-hmm.
is basically a trekathon, which is a trekking system. What it is a web-based platform
Mm-hmm.
which we have designed for adventure lovers, basically. So it is a full mean stack. Like we have used tech stack as in backend we have used Node.js with
Mm-hmm.
Express.js, and in database we have used MySQL,
Okay.
and in front end we have used HTML, CSS with JavaScript. So in this, like user first need to sign up themselves if he or she is a new user.
Okay.
After that they can log in themselves, then they will redirect to dashboard, in which
Okay.
they can see list of tracking system, like tracking with wherever they want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And from backend side, like we have developed an admin side also, on which we can like add a tracking location, date, or we can delete a user also, like from backend side.
Okay.
Yes, so
So
that's
in
what one
this
thing.
last project, okay. So in this last project, what was your role exactly?
We all have, like, it was a team project
Okay.
basically. So there were team size of 3 to 4 teammates,
Mm-hmm.
and we all have done contribution in both back end and front end.
Okay.
So I have worked in, but majorly we have like I have worked in back end
Backend only.
and database. Yes.
Okay. Okay, as you said that you worked on backend and database, right? So let's move ahead and let's start with some backend questions. Okay.
Okay.
So we will start with some basic questions. We'll start with the OOPS concept
Okay.
first. Okay. So tell me, what are the OOPS concept and what is the use of this OOPS concept exactly?
OOPS basically stands for object oriented programming,
Mm-hmm.
which is useful for our like if it uses for like we can reuse our codes
Okay.
through OOPS.
Mm-hmm.
Also, reuse in the sense there are 4 concepts in OOPS, which are encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism.
Okay.
So these 4 act as a pillar of object oriented programming.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think it is useful for our
Okay, so what
programming.
are those OOPS concepts? So what are those pillars?
So, as I said, there are 4 pillars, which are abstraction,
Mm-hmm.
polymorphism, encapsulation, and inheritance. What happens in abstraction is
Mm-hmm.
it hides the unnecessary backend. You know, like if we are creating, writing a code,
Okay.
and if there is any more technical stuff, so we can hide it, and if we can show user only necessary part, like for real world real life example, we watch television.
Mm-hmm.
So we simply press a remote, like a button on a remote, and it simply show our whatever channel we want to.
Right.
But user do not need to know what is happening internally in the
Okay.
television.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Right.
basically abstraction.
Okay.
Inheritance is
Mm-hmm.
like if a child class is inherits the all the implementation of parent class. It is basically a inheritance, so because of which we can reuse our code again and again, so it
Okay.
simplifies the reusability. Also, in polymorphism, what happens, like the polymorphism term, in this term poly stands for many and morphism stands for forms. So it's
Okay.
basically many forms. Like single method can so it can give uses, multiple uses we can use from one method. Like it plays multiple roles. If we are creating any class or something, we can use it again and again. Like it can form with multiple roles.
Okay.
Like father, in a real life example, our father plays a role as a father to their children, as a husband to their wife,
Wife.
and as a
Okay.
son to their
Okay,
grandmother.
so if we talked about in terms of technical, okay,
Technical.
so what is mean by polymorphism exactly in terms of technical?
In polymorphism, there are two types.
Mm-hmm.
One is compile time polymorphism,
Okay.
second one is runtime polymorphism. In compile time, overloading plays a role.
Okay.
So, what happens in overloading is, if we are creating a class, in the same class, there is different methods are used, in which methods are different, same method but different parameters and different return type is there in polymorphism, in overloading. In the other side, on the other side, what is overriding is,
Mm-hmm.
in that class are different but the methods return type are same. So this is
Okay.
basically in overriding, like subclass implement modifies their code and also inherit from their parent class.
Okay, so do you know why we call it as a compile time and runtime polymorphism?
Like if we are compiling our problem,
Mm-hmm.
then the compile time polymorphism will play a role, like
Okay.
during our compile time. And while after all the execution of the program or our code, the runtime polymorphism will be executed.
Okay, so so I have written one code. Okay, so suppose I have one method
Okay.
called void m1 and second method is integer m1. Okay, so these both methods in the same class only. Okay,
Okay.
so tell me, is it a method overloading or not?
It is like their return type are different. As I can see, one
Mm-hmm.
is int and other is void.
Void. Okay.
So in overloading, return type should be different. So it is not a overloading.
Okay, it is not overloading, you mean to
No.
say. Okay, so what is the exact definition of method overloading is?
As
So
I
I can see this is the different, right? So I can see the return type are different.
There
Okay.
are some rules which
Mm-hmm.
overloading follows. Like there should be different return type and different method also. But
Different.
sorry, different parameters. There should be different parameters, but it can be in same class.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you mean to say different return types and different parameters also.
Parameters, yes.
Okay, so let me tell you one thing. So only just basis of return type we can't do the method overloading. Okay, if it is same or if it is different, that is doesn't matter for method overloading. Okay, so it will consider only the parameters. Okay, so method signature means it will consider only the parameters inside this bracket.
Okay.
Okay, so let's move ahead and tell me one thing. What is abstraction is?
Abstraction, as I said, it
Hmm.
hides the complex implementation and shows the only necessary part. Also, there are two. We can implement abstraction in two types, like with abstract class and other is interface.
Okay, so do you know where you exactly use this abstraction in your project? So I
Um,
remember any situation where you have used these kind of things.
yes, like in my current project, which was Trekathon,
Mm-hmm.
so we have to add multiple trekking spots there. So
Okay.
they can be same trekking spots, right? Like same trekking spots, and also the trekking level can be same. Like it can be hard, moderate, or easy, right? So if but if we are using abstraction, by abstraction, they can be costing can be different in the tracking system.
Mm-hmm.
So while booking the if user is booking the trekking, any trekking spot, so costing should be different. Like I have used abstraction by giving same level, same on the same trek spot, but
Okay.
I have created another class below, so their calculation part will be different. So here, abstraction by using abstraction, I can hide the part of like levels of their like trekking, and calculation, like if there is like 700 rupees for one trek and another one is for 800. So here calculation part will be different.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So let's move ahead and tell me one thing. So what is garbage collector is exactly?
What garbage collector is, like if we are creating any program and we use multiple objects and classes, as we all know, so they can be, and also obviously they like uses some memory space in our system, so there can be extra memory space also. So here arises garbage collector. It simply internally initializes and it deletes all the memory spaces. So it used to
Okay.
like unnecessary memory spaces are being
Okay. So
destroyed by
we
garbage
can call
collector.
it as unnecessary objects. We can say, right?
Memories, yes,
So
yes.
object. So garbage collector is collecting the unnecessary
Unnecessary
objects
spaces of the
and
object,
objects. Okay.
yes.
Okay. So and now let's move ahead and tell me one thing. So what is the difference between array and collections?
um, Arrays and collections are the framework, like it is a framework which have multiple interfaces and classes, and also it has multiple like data structure in collection, whereas in array it is a static type of array, and it is a sequential it is in a sequential manner like array, and it can be multi-dimensional also like array. And what's the major difference is arrays are static in nature, whereas collections are dynamic in nature. Here, as I said, types are multidimensional arrays, whereas in collection they can be set, maps, and list. Like in list, there can be more. We can further implement like array list and linked list, whereas in set there can be hash set and etc.
Okay, so tell me one thing. So as you know, the Java is right. So Java is a programming language. So what are the other programming languages do you know about? What are the other programming languages? Is
Java is a programming language. Also, there are multiple language which are being used in modern way. Also, like Node.js, Express are are the framework
right,
actually. Also, Python we can
Python,
use.
right,
So C language is there.
right.
So these all are the
So do you know
programming language.
about the .NET?
Yes, I'm familiar with .NET, but I'm not that much
Okay, okay.
professional in that.
So one question is, so why you have choose the Java as a programming language instead of Python instead of .NET? So
I felt like Java could be easier to learn. Actually, every other languages are easier to learn.
easy to learn, right?
But as I said that I have completed my bachelor's in computer science, during our academic curriculum, Java was the core language of our academic syllabus. So after while learning Java in our college, I felt like I can be familiar with Java, and also like current on the current basis during our interview, like you also asked questions
Yes, yes.
with Java.
Based
So
with Java, right?
at the other point there can be interview in the only Java programming language, like interviewer always chooses Java, I guess. So
Okay,
I studied Java more, including and also we have used in some projects.
okay, okay, great. So now tell me one thing. What are the access modifiers we have in the Java?
In Java, there is OOPS concept, which is object-oriented programming. Access modifiers plays a role in object-oriented programming only.
Okay.
So there are four types of access modifiers, which are protected, public, default, and private. So these are the four access modifiers, which are very mandatory. I feel like to use in our object-oriented programming. Like if we want to hide some private data of the users, or like we have used payment gateways in our Trackathon project. So there are some like user need to fill their credit card number and all. So these are some confidential data. So here plays a private access modifier. We can use private access modifier in this and hide our data. Also, protected data access modifier is it protects the like it also and in public it is globally, like we can use publicly.
So, do you know what is meant by default access modifier is?
I think default access modifier, we do not need to write any, like we can directly write any return type in this.
Okay, so for example, I have one class. Okay, so this is for example ABC class, and I have written directly the method like void m1.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me what is the access modifier of this method?
As I said,
Default access modifier of the methods.
I think public will be default access modifier here.
Public will be default access modifier for the class members. Are you sure?
I guess
Okay, no issues. Okay, so do you know what is the default access modifier for the class?
for a class itself, I think public.
Okay, no issues. Let's move ahead and let's talk about database part as well, right? So as you said that you have exposure on database as well, right?
Yes.
So tell me what database is exactly and why a database is required for a developer.
From my point of view, database is the crucial part of our whole project.
Okay.
Like it plays a major role, because if we are developing our project with front end and back end, and if we are not using back end like database, then it would be like no use of creating our project. Because if we are developing our project in back end, after that we have to store all the information related to our project somewhere. So here plays a database management system, in which I have chose MySQL.
Okay. Okay, so as I think you know that in the IT industry, there are role database engineer or SQL developers, right?
Yes.
Database developers and DBA as well. Okay, so these are the roles already we have in the IT industry, but still developers should know about the database,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
But what is the logic behind this? Why developers should know about the database as well? So what is your thinking about this?
See, like every other employee works for their specific part of their job role. But there, like every employer also should be known about database, because any part can be assigned to them, right? Like for back end also, or they have to work for front end also.
Right.
So they should know about databases also, like the relational or non-relational databases. So I feel like every other employee should have knowledge
about the database.
database.
Right. So developers is working with the testers, SQL developers, right?
Correct.
So and if the SQL developers develop the or build the database, but we should know what are the tables inside the database.
Correct.
So based on that, we can connect to the
Yes.
database. Based on that fields, based on that columns, we can get the fields, right?
Correct.
So that's what we should know about the database as well. Okay,
Yes.
great. let's move ahead and tell me The difference between truncate and delete is.
Okay. So what delete does is uh, deletes the specific row. If we want to, like I want to delete the row of id, so I can simply delete it by giving delete keyword, and it will delete the specific row. On the other hand, truncate deletes all the row in the table available. And here in delete, rollback is done, but truncate doesn't apply like rollback here.
Okay, okay, fine.
Like we can undo changes in delete.
Okay, fine. So tell me one thing. So, do you know the primary keys? What is the primary key?
Yes, primary keys are the unique keys which should be there in every table available in our or we have created in our database. So yeah, primary key is a unique key.
Yeah. So, can we have a null value inside the primary key?
No, primary key should be like important. Like it should not be not null.
Are you sure?
Yes, it is not always not null.
Okay. Can we use the multiple primary key across the table?
No, like every other table, there is single primary key only.
Single primary key.
Yes.
So, can we have multiple unique key for the one table?
We can like by giving references we can use multiple table. Like there is only one unique key in every table.
So there is only one unique key. So can you just tell me the exact difference between this unique and the primary key then? So as you said, primary key also only one primary key across the table, and unique key also the only one.
Primary key itself is a unique key, I think.
There is a separate unique key is there. Okay, so in this,
Which are foreign key.
no. So in unique key is always having the unique values.
Yes.
Unique values means it will allows the single null values.
Yes. Okay.
Right. So single null values, why it is? Because it's a unique. It will check the uniqueness. It will not check the null or not null. It is checking the unique values. Then a null also it will consider as the one value, and it will allow the single null value unique key. Okay, so we can have multiple unique key for the tables, and primary key only one primary key across the table. Okay, no issues. Let's move ahead and tell me what are the joins we have in database.
There are two types of joins. There is one inner join, other is outer join. So basically, in outer join there is right outer join, left outer join, full outer join. So in inner join, the if we are comparing two tables, so all the matching rows are been like we can be it is visible like in inner join, and in right outer join, like on the other side on outer join, in the right outer join there is all the rows from right table, right all the rows, and some common rows from the other table. These are been shown, and left outer join, all the left side of rows and matching rows from both the tables are being shown, and yeah.
Okay, so just write one query. I wanted to get the second highest salary from employee table. Okay, just write this query.
Sure.
Okay, select salary from employee auto by salary descending.
I have used limit and offset.
Yes. Okay. Correct. Okay. So I'm done from my side. Okay. So do you have any question?
No sir, that's all.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much sir.
Thank you.